Did you know that this is the year that you should consider becoming a sports broadcaster? I'll tell you why next. Maybe you're a sports fan. Maybe you've never thought about becoming a sports journalist, a sports media professional, or a sportscaster. But I'm here to tell you today that it might be time to consider it. It might be time to think about it because it's easier than ever before to become a sports broadcaster. I'm going to tell you why. My name is Rick. If we haven't met, thanks for joining today. What we do here at Sportscasters Club is we help you become a better sports fan and, if you choose, a better sportscaster. And that's our goal. So why do I say that right now, this year is the best time to become a sports broadcaster? There are a few reasons. Let's talk about what a sports broadcaster is first and then tell you why I think this might be the best time for you. Sports broadcasting has many different facets. There's play-by-play, there's color analysis, there's sideline reporting, there's talk show hosting, there's update anchoring, there's television, radio, there's behind the scenes, there's quick podcasts, there's so many different things. The great thing is, a couple decades ago, the only way to do that, to become a sports broadcaster, was to work for an organization, an outlet, a team, a television station, a radio station. Those were the gatekeepers. Those were the ones that you had to impress, you had to network with, you had to build relationships with in order to get that opportunity. For example, me, I went to Fordham University in New York City. I interned at WFAN Radio in New York, the premier sports radio station in the country, the pioneer in the industry. And I built so many great relationships, had a great learning experience there, and my career blossomed and grew. But you needed an outlet like that. You needed someone to take a chance on you, to give you the opportunity, and then to take a chance and eventually put you on the air. And I got that in minor league baseball as well. When I started out as a program salesman at the ballpark, became friendly with the broadcaster, he allowed me to start doing post-game interviews, and then that grew from being a teenager, not getting paid, sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag in hotels, to then eventually getting paid to broadcast games. But I needed a team or a broadcast outlet to give me that opportunity. So in other words, it was a narrow path. It was a difficult path. Broadcasters of my generation in the 90s and around that time, they know the pains of copying your demo tape onto cassettes and making dozens of those demo tapes and then physically mailing it to teams or to radio stations or television stations. I did it both in TV and radio. And in fact, my broadcast partner and I, one year, we made a trip to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and personally delivered a demo tape to the team. But those were the things you had to do because those were the gatekeepers. So what's different now? What's different now, decades later? Nowadays, you can turn on your laptop, your phone, and you can become a sports broadcaster. What am I doing right now? I'm talking to a camera here in my office, nobody else around, and that makes me a sports broadcaster. It doesn't make you a good one. It doesn't make you a popular one. It doesn't make you one that anyone wants to hear. It doesn't make you one that's making any money. But it absolutely does make you a sports broadcaster. So, as you know, you've seen the things we've talked about here for years on this Sportscasters Club YouTube show. And we've got the podcast as well. And we've got the website as well. And books and online sports broadcasting course. But it's something that anyone can do. Turn on the camera, talk about sports. Boom, you're a sports broadcaster. How do you think that's going to help you get better? Well, the more you do it, you're going to improve. How do you think that's going to help you network? By the guests you have, by the topics you discuss, by the reading, the watching, the research, the learning, the education. You're going to become a better sportscaster tomorrow than you were today. So the barriers to entry completely gone. The barriers to entry are not there. So if I'm, let's say, a program director, or if I'm a team executive, or someone who's in a hiring capacity, and someone comes to me and wants to work for my organization as a sports broadcaster, one of the first things I'm going to do is to find out whether or not they've been doing it like this. Have they been doing it? And how have they improved? If they tell me no, and they've got nothing to show me, that's going to make me wonder about their commitment, their determination. When I was coming up and when others before me were coming up, you actually needed some kind of an event and some kind of a way to get yourself a demo tape. So oftentimes we would go to games with a little tape recorder, or we would put a game on television and broadcast into a tape recorder. And that was how we formulated our first demos, because we were young and we didn't have the apparatus in place. Now, you can watch a game, you can go to an event, you can turn on your phone, and you can talk about it. You can discuss it. And like I said, that makes you a sports broadcaster. How much have we heard over recent years how instead of having this big, monolithic, powerful media where everyone thought the same and had the same biases and all of that, now we've got thousands, hundreds of thousands of independent journalists who simply go out to events and capture what's going on in the world with their phones. And those journalists, as we've seen in recent years, have in many cases proven to be more timely, more truthful, more transparent in bringing stories right to people, right to the viewer, right to the listener. And that's put a lot of pressure on the legacy media, which is great, because no longer can they be the middleman shaping what they want us to believe, because now we can see it for ourselves. And so as an independent journalist, there are so many opportunities. I can take my camera out today, so can you, and I can go to a town hall meeting, I can go to a protest, I can go to an event, I can go to a concert or a show or any other place, and I can opine on it with my phone, or I can do it with a camera and a microphone here. I can become a reporter. I can become a journalist, which that's such an overused term. Usually journalist means I'm an advocate for a position. Advocacy journalism is another topic all of it in itself. I don't think it should exist. I think if you're a reporter or a journalist, you should be reporting facts, not advocating for a position or an opinion. But that's another topic all to its own. My point today is that the barrier to entry to becoming a media professional in general is extremely low. So if you want to be a journalist, go do it. Turn on your phone. Everyone's got a phone. And do it. You can do it today. If you want to be a sports broadcaster, you can do it. You can get out there today. You can go to an event, turn on your phone, and explain what you've seen. Explain what you've gathered, either as a reporter or as an opinion personality. And you can do the same right here with a camera. With social media, everyone has social media and social media accounts, social media profiles. And so you're able to do it immediately. So when I say now is the time to become a sports broadcaster, we've done plenty of episodes here about how you do it and why you would want to do it. And you can go back in the archive and look at those. Today, the point is saying that if you truly want to do it, you can do it now. And this may be the year where you can do it without jeopardizing anything. If you work full time, you can still do this and become a sports professional. Maybe you're doing it just as a hobby. That's fine. You don't have to get paid a ton of money to do it if that's what you want to do. If you want to go out and cover sporting events and become the local guru in your neighborhood, in your town, great. Gather a little following, help the community. That's awesome. That's becoming a sports reporter. And you don't have to jeopardize your family, your mortgage, your kids, all that. Your house with a white picket fence, your dogs. You don't have to mortgage any of that. You don't have to risk any of that. I'm not saying quit your job and go out and try to be a fledgling sportscaster. Not at all. There's a time and a place to make that jump, which we've talked about in previous videos. And you can go and find out some of the really wise advice that I think we've passed along in that regard. But if you want to do it for fun, or if you want to do it as a starting point to eventually have a career as a sports professional, as a sports journalist, a broadcaster, this is the great way to start. Leave me a comment if you have questions. I'll be sure to answer. If you have specifics that you're curious about, leave a comment. And I mentioned some of the resources that we have at the website as well. But starting here by watching the videos is a great starting place. So I think this is the year that you can take a risk-free approach and become a sports broadcaster if you love it, or if you want to find out if you love it. That's a great way to do it. So my name is Rick, if we haven't met before. Thanks for joining. It's great to have you with us. It's been our pleasure, and I hope to see you next time. Make sure you subscribe so you get the next video we put out. And until next time, so long.